Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages, from Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977, it's time for the PLE Event Center, where our host talks about the results from a WWE PLE event. And now here's the man to bring you all the results from the PLE event himself, Eric M. Lima. Thank you very much, Mr. Announcer, sir. Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977, episode number 2632 of the show. How's it going? And finally, this week has come to an end. The final full week of October. As you know, even though next week, October's got 6 days left and because of that, as you know, today was the final Card Sharks and Sue Saturdays, and I do apologize once again. I had a show going, and then in the middle of the show, in the middle of the episode tape that I had, my monitor went out, so we decided to go out and get a new one, and boom, here I am. It only cost me like less than $95, like $92, $93 basically. So that's a good, so that's a good sign. So I'm very, very happy about this. This is really, really cool. It's a screen's about as big, still decently big and all that. Let's see what we got here, and I'm sure you guys don't mind. As you know, Halloween Havoc is just over. I end up live reacting to with my friends, Brandon, Jordan, Dante, William, and William, all for the gentlemen online, and we interacted with the chat online and all that. We had a lot of fun with our picks and predictions. In fact, I did pretty good, and I will get to that. And this is something that so this is something that I didn't think this is there was one match I got wrong, but I didn't expect this to happen, but it did, and it will be something else to think about. So we'll see what happens. Alrighty then, so we'll kick it off with Javon Evans and Leon Slater against La Parka and Mr. McGuana. We knew this match was going to be the show stealer, but we didn't think it was going to kick off NXT Halloween Havoc. These two, in fact, I think the funny part was Javon Evans bringing a skeleton to the ring and having a whisper and give him a high five. Too funny. Javon Evans and Leon Slater. These two guys are very entertaining. When they went against each other for the X Division title, it was a heck of a matchup. And La Parka and Mr. Iguana gave it all they got, but in the end, Evans and Slater won the matchup. More on those two gentlemen. Izzy Dame and Tam Paxley was talking to Zarya and Sol Ruka, and they were taunting about how they're going to walk away with some gold. And Zarya and Sol Ruka kind of like are not feeling it. So, a Day of the Dead match for the men's North American title, Ethan Page against El Hijo del Wagner Jr. This was a heck of a matchup. And it got to the point where Ethan Page was trying to yank the mask out of Dr. Wagner Jr., who got really upset about that. But in the end, is Ethan Page all ego? Well, retained the title. So I had a feeling that was going to be the case. So I picked for the tag match. I picked Slater and Evans to win the matchup. They did, and I picked Ethan Page to retain. That happened. So Keilani Jordan was watching watching Halloween Havoc, and Jordan Grace did come up to her to talk to her. Jordan Grace looking like a sexy version of Velma, which if Velma had longer hair, which it doesn't matter. And I think Keilani Jordan said some very mean things to Jordan Grace, and Jordan Grace slapped her across the face, and she says, "You're going to regret that." So, and it's like Keilani Jordan is not in a very good mood ever since she got kicked out of her locker room because she was the TNA Knockouts champion. And that match will happen this Tuesday as Keilani Jordan will defend the Knockouts championship against the former champ, Jordan Grace. Meanwhile, the women's North American title line, Zarya defending the title in Sol Ruka's stead against Blake Monroe. And ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the match and new Women's North American Champion, Blake Monroe. Will there be tension between Zarya and Soruka? Soruka now has one title left, the Women's Speed Championship. I picked Monroe to win the title because I had a feeling it was her time, but Zarya ended up defending it. Probably, Monroe did use that hairpin to beat Monroe. Don't know what the sound was, but that buzzing sound. So I picked Monroe to win, and she did. So that was, so far it's 2-0. So 3-0 in that my picks and predictions. Then Ren Sinclair was talking to Karen Petrovich and Kendall Gray about how, the confrontation between her and Lash Legend. And then Lash Legend came up, interrupted them, and Kendall Gray got into her face and, and said, you know what? And Kendall Gray goes, you want me to prove it? Let's prove it this Tuesday. And then Lash Legend said, Giley snatched that title from you. And then Ren Sinclair, I don't think she said about anything title match. Yeah, I didn't think she said about a title match, but if you want to make it a title match, let's do it then. And then Lash Legend said, consider that title snatch. So another championship match coming this Tuesday on the fallout. The fallout of Halloween Havoc. But then the NXT Women's title was next on the line. JC Dayton defending the title against Tatum Paxley of the Culling. Fatal Influence, both members, and all members of the Culling were getting involved during the match, but the referee, Chip Danning, says he's had enough of all this, and he ejected all of them from ringside. But the match still went on. Both factions came back out, and Izzy Dame went to go hit, because I thought Izzy Dame was going to nail Tatum Paxley to betray her, and basically end up, having JC Jane to retain the title, but Tatum Paxley ducked out of the way, hit JC Jane with the belt. Tatum Paxley took advantage. 1, 2, 3. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the match and new NXT Women's Champion, Tatum Paxley. So this could set up with Izzy Dane turning on Paxley. Could be the Culling using her all along. So we'll find out this coming Tuesday, and that's the only match I got wrong, basically, so far. So, 3-1. So Miles Bourne and Tavian Heights were talking to Ava and complaining about winning and losing matches in the Hollywood with Josh Briggs, and then Ava. But now Ava set up a matchup between the former No Quarter Catch crew members next week, Miles Bourne and Tavian Heights. So it'll be very interesting to see how this develops. Then the Broken Rules match for the NXT Tag Team titles. The Hardys defending it against Dark State. And all 4 members of Dark State are allowed in the matchup. And I had a feeling that was going to go against the Hardys. And I think it was a mistake on the Hardys' part to make it no DQ. You give Dark State that much leeway, they're going to take advantage of it. And that they did. And you're looking at, once again, a 2-time NXT Tag Team Champions, Dark State. They got the belts. And Slater and Evans were watching the matchup, and they were feeling bummed that the Hardys didn't lose the matchup. But then Javon Evans had this great idea. He said, hey, we got some unfinished business with Dark State. Why don't we deal with them and take the titles? And then he goes, well, no, I got a chance. I have to concentrate on this, but after I get done with dealing with this, we'll do it. You get me? There's nothing wrong with holding 2 titles. Why the heck not? Let's just say this. He goes for his latest title defense. He retains the title. How about this, though? How about going after those tag team titles? So that's something. Slater and Evans can make great tag team champions. They can make the tag team division great in the matchup. They could be like the allied version of the New Day. Who knows? And then El Grande Americano addresses the speed final between Jasper Troy and Axiom. The winner will face El Grande Americano. But he says he's going to send his amigos, the Los Americanos. That would be Rayo and Bravo. Will be Rayo and Bravo. That's their names, not Marcano 1 or 2. Rayo and Bravo to to possibly confront the winner of the Speed Tournament. I would be very careful with Jasper Troy because he can rip anybody apart. Then the NXT title was on the line. Ricky Saints defending it against Trick Williams. These two men went at it. They tried to use tables and everything else, but in the end, Ricky Saints retains the title against Trick Williams. And then at the end, Sarah Schreiber interviewed Colleen, the new women's champ, Tatum Paxley. So, and Tatum Paxley said there's going to be some craziness going to go on. Don't know what her deal is, but you know what? Looking forward to it. Well, so I picked Ricky Saints to retain. He did that. So I got 5 right, 1 wrong in the 6th match. I want to give a shout out to Chev James. He got all his predictions correct for NXT Halloween Havoc. And that is all the time there is. Next episode will be 2633. We'll be talking about AEW Collision, the fallout from Wrestle Dream Part 2. So we got that. Let's see if so let's see. Yep. They fall out from Wrestle Dream Part 2. So I'll see you guys later. You guys have a wonderful, blessed day. Until next episode comes rolling around, Mr. Announcer, take us home. That is all for today's episode of the show. This is Mr. Announcer speaking for Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. A Big Beefy E and do it for Bob Saget production and in association with a Raving Bull for 3000 Telepictures and Distribution. Thank you for watching another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. See you later on the next episode of the show. Goodbye for now.